What's up, guys? Kelly McKay here, aka HVAC Millionaire, right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, and leave me a comment below. Today I want to talk about beliefs, because there are two types of beliefs, right? We've got positive beliefs and negative beliefs. We'll just write beliefs. And depending on where we spend most of our time, in the positive side or in the negative side, that's what's going to determine our expectations. Right? So depending on where we live most of the time, we either live in the positive side of beliefs or the negative side of beliefs. And depending on where we're at most of the time, that's going to develop the most powerful expectations. And the most powerful expectations are always going to win when it comes to like this battle that's happening inside our minds, right? So when we have a positive belief that's creating a positive expectation, then what happens from that is we gain faith. What's called just faith. Faith in our ability, faith in possibilities, faith in our capability to get something that we want in life or to achieve something that we want. So faith is incredibly powerful. And when you have faith, then you can get free. So what does free mean? Free means like you're free to try new things. You're open to these new options. You don't see such limited options. You don't have such a narrow focal point. Like blinders are off and you're free to make some new decisions. You're free to try new things. And that freedom oftentimes is where we find our breakthroughs. That's what happens, when we're free to make new choices and new decisions and take new actions. And when we're free, it's much more easy or easier to become focused, right? We get more focused. We can zero in on what it is that we want and spend more time there. And that's what I mean by staying focused. And as a result, we find favorable outcomes. Right? So when we have positive beliefs, we have faith, we build faith, like we build we become efficacious, like we believe that we can figure out anything, that we can do more in our lives, that we can get more, whatever that more is for you. And that creates faith, right? Faith. And then we get free to try new things. And then we stay focused, we get focused, we find favorable outcomes. Now, on the negative side of beliefs, what happens there? Well, we feel fear. I want you to keep in mind that you're living in one of these categories most of the time. And it's important to recognize which category you're in, because that's the only way a change can happen if you find that you're on the fear side too much. So when we have fear, what happens? Well, in most instances, we freeze. You've heard the fight, flight, or freeze, when we're scared of something or we're fearful of something. Well, most of the time we're freezing. And I don't mean like freezing like that. I mean like we just keep repeating the same thing that we did yesterday and the day before and the week before that and the month before that and the year before that. So we're not going anywhere. We're just frozen. We're stuck. Whether we want to admit it or not, we get stuck. And that's what I call freeze. You're just frozen, right? And oftentimes, if we stay there for too long, what can happen, if we don't just decide to just stay with the status quo, then we fold. We give up. We start becoming cynical. We think that there's no way that you can ever bring your dream into reality, whatever your dream is. Whatever it is that you want more of, right? So we fold oftentimes. Like we give up and we just decide to keep doing what we're doing. because we don't feel like there's any way we can win. And when we do all these things, you guessed it, we find unfavorable outcomes. Right? So negative beliefs we live in fear. That's the majority of the time we're going to live in fear if all we have is negative beliefs. And it causes us to freeze and not do anything. We just stay stuck doing the same old, day in, day out. And then oftentimes we fold, like we just cash in our chips, like we're done. We're not even gonna play anymore, right? And then as a result of that, we find unfavorable outcomes. We're not getting the things that we want in life. Like we're not getting what we want out of our relationships, out of our health, out of our businesses. And it's not a good place to be. And it's not some place you want to stay at if you just choose to make a different decision, to start looking at your beliefs differently and start looking towards the positive. So when it comes to beliefs, it starts with a belief, right? You've got beliefs. Here, let me erase that. So beliefs create expectations. We've established that. And those expectations basically create thoughts. And beliefs are thoughts. You could argue that. Absolutely. They are thoughts. They definitely are thoughts. But they're multiplying those thoughts, right? And these expectations, they multiply. Like, what if this? What if that? Or what if this? Or what if that? Like, there's two different energies there. And those expectations, are going to continue to feed our thoughts. And those thoughts create feelings. So if I always expect to be tired, if I always expect to be bored, if I always expect to, be overweight, if I always expect to never make any money in my business or be able to ever save any money or ever get ahead, if that's what my expectations are, and that's my dominant pattern of thinking, well, then I'm going to create feelings surrounding that. And how do you think somebody's going to feel if that's the case, if that's the way they think? They're not going to feel very good, right? They're not going to feel good at all. So if we can change those beliefs, our expectations change, our thoughts, our predominant patterns of thinking change, and we get different feelings with that. And they could be feelings that energize us or feelings that demotivate us. So you have to choose your beliefs and your thoughts carefully, or your expectations carefully. And those feelings turn into habits and behaviors. Let's call it behave. Habits and behaviors, right? And those habits and behaviors create our personality. It's how we act most of the time, our personality and our character. And then finally, last but not least, it creates our destiny. All of these things lead to the final outcome, the result, the destiny, where you're headed, where you're going. It all has to do with this right here. You got to keep your beliefs in check, because those beliefs are going to create expectations. And you get what you expect always in life. And so we gotta watch those things, right? We gotta watch those beliefs, so that way we're making sure that we're only expecting good things to happen. And it allows us to see more good things in the world. So we've got beliefs, expectations turn into thoughts, feelings, habits, and behaviors, personality and character, and ultimately determines your destiny. So check your beliefs, check your thoughts, check your expectations, and think about the positive in things. Like, what's good about this? No matter how bad something may seem, just think to yourself, what's good about this? Because there's always a balance happening in life. Always. With every positive, there's always a negative. So look at what you're expecting. Understand that we've got to look at things from a different perspective, right? And start to expect good things to happen. And I can promise you, good things will happen. So love you guys. Go make money. Boom.